Hey guys, welcome to today's tutorial. My name is Blessing of Sue with Octavia, and in this video we are going to be learning how to make this looped laced up design at the back. Okay, so is this your first time of coming across us on this space? Kindly hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share our content, and let's delve right into the video. So the first thing I did was to mark out my basic measurements I've been needing, which means I left 1.5 inch as the zipper allowance. I've drafted my shoulder and my armhole, marked my bust point, my under bust, my half length. Okay, so I now mark my nipple to nipple. I'm working with a nipple to nipple of 4 inches. So I connect the lines. I mark it 4 inches at the bust, under bust, and at the half length, and I connect the lines together as seen. So the size of our darts for the back piece is 1 inch, but I'm going to be sharing it half inch between the lines, which still sums up to our 1 inch anyway. So you blend it to meet the bust point like this. It looks like a triangle. You connect it to your half length as shown. So this is our dart that we're going out from the back piece. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do now is to get your round body measurement. I worked with a bust of 36, which is 9. So I marked 9 inches with a 1.5 allowance. At the under bust, I worked with an under bust of 30 inches, which is 7.5, and I take note of my 1 inch dart, which is 1, then 1.5 allowance. At the under bust, at the half length rather, still 7.5, 1 inch dart, and 1.5 allowance. Connect all your markings together, and you will have this. Okay, so I'm just extending the lines now so that we'll not be confused. Okay, so this is what we have after marking. Next thing you're going to do is to how deep you want your back neckline to be. If you go back to the picture, so I came down by 7 inches from my armhole. Then that's from the armhole area. Then for the center back, I came down by 11 inches. So I connected from the 11 inches at the center back to the 7 inches at the armhole with a curve like that. So if you don't have a French curve, you can also use, just trace it out and cut it off. So the upper part, which is the yoke, I will not be needing it because of the way the style is. So what I just did was I'll be cutting it out as I marked. So before I cut out, the bag actually has two, is made up of two components. So the next thing, I'm going to first of all draft out my neckline. I'm working with a neckline of 3 inches, depth of 1.5, 3 inches width, then 1.5 inches depth. Connect it together because you need it to be firmly around your neck. It's supposed to be like a high neck because you're going to attach a band to it. So you need it to be just not too tight and not loose, okay, for ease of. So I cut the neckline out as shown. Now what I want to do is I want to replicate this pattern I have of my back. I'm going to replicate it into another paper because, like I mentioned earlier, we have two components. So I replicate this pattern and I make two copies before I'll be able to like get out my desired shape. So for the first part, I cut out the yolk out like so. I cut out the and I discard the yolk. I don't need the yolk part. I only need the bottom part. Then for the second component, that's where I will now trace out the, as in how wide I want the upper side to be. So you see the way I'm marking it, I'm actually trying to mark off the zipper allowance. I don't need the zipper allowance on the upper part. So I mark it off first before I now trace out the shape I want the upper bodies to take. So that's my that point, and that point I'm marking on the second paper, okay, because the second component starts just after the dot of the first one. So I need to know exactly where the dot starts. Then I go back, I move back a little by 1 inch before I now trace out the shape I want it to look like. Cut it on my fabric. This is what we have when we are done marking. So I'm making the loops for the back piece. Actually use bias. Okay, so the way bias is, you get your bias and I fold it again further into two to make it smaller. Okay, so you know bias is like half inch wide. So I further folded the half inch into two to make it 0.25. So this is how it looks like. Okay, I have what I did next is to use my paper to cut on my fabric. So this is what I have. So I mark use my tape and I mark 2 inches at intervals to get where my loop placement is supposed to be. Okay, so you can do yours as wide as you want to, 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. Just play around with how wide you want your loops to be. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'll use 2 inches interval. So what I'm doing is marking it on the first part of the back piece like that. You're going to do it on the two sides so that you both have equal placement of your loops. So after doing this, I'm just pinning it steady. After doing this, I sew it on the sewing machine. So now this is the second component of my back. I have turned it with lining and closed up my dart, fix my loops on the second part. Then this is what we are going to have when we are done. You place it on each other and you arrange it properly and sew it down from the armhole. So that's what is basically going to be holding the two pieces together. When you're done, you use a cord and lace up the back as sewn. And I hope you'll be trying up this tutorial. Please do so and let me know in the comment section. If you're new here, kindly hit the subscribe button, and thank you to all who have been coming back to our channel. Invite your friends, and I do hope you'll be trying it, and I'll see you in the next video. Voila!